In this video, I'm going to share how to use social media to improve the customer service, or how to use social media to provide customer support, and how to use social media to protect yourself and your brand reputation through customer service. Before we go into the nitty-gritties of how to do this, I'm going to point out to you the importance of providing customer service on social media. First is it saves brand reputation. Ideally, your customer, when he's unhappy about the product or the delivery, or doesn't like the content which you have written or the information product which you just bought, he should write an email to you or create a support ticket going into your customer support dashboard. But not everyone does that. People are pissed off, and people expectation of what the brand has to do for them is going up through the roof every day. People have become very impatient, and they just go on social media and rant, and they sometimes even tag your brand name, like tweet directly to you, or on Facebook or on Instagram maybe, and say that you suck, or your competition is much better. You broke my trust. I was a customer for these many years and you broke my trust. So there's a lot of negativity which can go on, and not always the mistake is yours. Maybe the customer just needs an option to let out his anger. So in those cases, you have to step in and say, yes, I'm there to solve your problem. Just let me know your problem. I'll make sure your problem is solved. And when you do that, and people in the social media community will know that you are actually standing up for people who are in trouble, or customers who are having a trouble with your product. So it saves brand reputation. You have to show people that you care. Their pricing is same as a competition when your products are same as your competition, and there is no such thing as USP anymore, and you provide free shipping, your competition provides free shipping. There should be a differentiator which makes people move towards you over your competition. And for that, you have to show people that you care. Not just show people that you care, that but you have to care. That's the point with social media and customer service. The third one is to convert a bad experience into a good one. There were many cases in my previous company where a person was not at all happy with our mobile app. So he downloaded the mobile app, he used it for some time, and it kept crashing. So he went on Google Play Store and said, your app sucks. We want a better app. We were expecting much better from you. So one of our developers looked into it and realized that this particular person was using a particular kind of phone, and the app was not built appropriately for that particular phone. And he went in and changed the code and made it optimized for that particular phone which the customer was using. And we replied back to the customer in the Play Store saying that we have updated the app, why don't you give it one more try. And yes, the user downloaded the mobile app again. He liked the app, and then he was very impressed with what we did, what our developers did, and he moved our rating from 1 star to 5 star. So we have converted a bad experience into a good one, and the user was so happy. He changed his rating of our app from 1 to 5. So customer service is all about caring, and social media is about listening, responding appropriately, and resolving. So social media team and the customer service team has to work together on this. These are the 3 steps to great social media customer service. First is you have to monitor, and to monitor you have to be very adept with social media platforms, especially social media listening tools. So there are many people who are searching for your brand right now on Twitter, Facebook, Google. There are many people talking about your brand in multiple social media platforms. Maybe he went to your retail store and he didn't like the product, or maybe he didn't like the way a particular staff member talked to him or her, and maybe he or she is going and ranting the same on Twitter. If you're not listening to that, if that particular person has not tagged your Facebook page or Twitter profile, then someone else reads it and someone retweets it and it gets covered by the media, and things can go totally wrong. And before all those things happen, you have to be aware that such a thing has ever happened, and for that you have to monitor conversations on the web. Not because you want to be like a policeman, it's just that you have to care for your customers and their pain points. That's it. So monitor is number one. Next is to respond appropriately, and the way you respond is not just a reply. I have a set of best practices which you have to follow, which I'm going to share in the next few slides. So once you monitor, you find the problem, then you have to respond appropriately so that the person's anxiety or anger is tamed to a bit. And you should not just respond saying, oh, we deeply regret your inconvenience. You have to actually do something about the problem, which is to resolve the problem. And to resolve the problem, you have to work with the service teams. Maybe you have to work with the logistics team or sales team. As a social media guy or girl, you have to be very good at monitoring, responding, and when it comes to resolution, you have to follow with your customer service team. It's much more internal process there. So all the three steps are important, and I'm going to walk you through what exactly needs to be done with each of these aspects. First is monitor social media for pissed off customers. There are many people who are ranting about their brand, or they may be happy about your brand. Maybe when they are expressing gratitude for your service or product, maybe you can reply to them, we are extremely happy that you are happy with our service. It's not just negative, it's also positive, which helps people increase the strength of the bond between you and your customers. So first is keywords. Make sure you make a list of keywords, which is brand names. For example, if your brand name is something like Myntra, I would like to list all the brand spelling mistakes of Myntra. Maybe it's not just Myntra. I would use something like Myantra. Maybe few people are using that kind of spelling. Maybe few people are using Myntre. So people don't all the time get the exact spelling of the brand name, and they might be using random brand names, but the person who is reading that tweet understands that this particular customer is angry about your brand name, about your company, about your service. Know your brand name and make a list of all spelling mistakes which are possible. And you might have multiple handles, so make a list of all that. And once you make a list of those keywords, make sure you have these tools handy, which is use Social Mention, Hootsuite, Google Alerts. Once you enter those keywords which you found out in the step 1 into these particular tools help you know whenever a particular person is talking about your brand. So Social Mention is a free tool, Hootsuite is a free tool, Google Alerts is a free tool. So there is nothing stopping you from actually monitoring what people are saying about your brand. Then escalate. You have to escalate to customer service. You have to create a ticket, not just sit there saying, oh, this particular person is ranting about my brand. You have to make sure the issue of the customer or the compliment of the customer is forwarded to the relevant person in your company. For instance, a person comments on the design of your website saying that your user experience sucks or something. Maybe you have to copy that tweet and send it to someone in your design team who is in charge of it. Or if a person is not happy with the retail store experience, maybe you have to forward that to the retail store experience manager in that area. Or if a person really likes your product and he has been using it for the last 3 years, maybe you can send that tweet with a screenshot to the person in your merchandising team. So what happens outside also affects everyone in the company. The next one is to respond appropriately. This is how you respond appropriately. You have to be quick. So that is why monitoring is so important. For instance, if someone has ranted about your brand 5 hours ago and you haven't dealt with it till now, there are chances of that there are multiple retweets, people replying to it, people saying, oh, I had the same experience with this particular company. So you have to be quick. So as the tweet is mentioned or the Facebook post is out there, you have to be informed in a form of an alert using these social media tools, and you should be quick to respond. And you have to be positive, you cannot be negative. Just because he's angry, you should not project that anger, because that's gonna backfire, because that would be taken as an arrogance by the customer or the user. On respond to all negative and positive feedback. It's not just negative feedback you'll respond, you'll also respond to positive feedback. I was talking about few minutes earlier. Also, you should know when to take the conversation private. For instance, if a person has placed an order, or person has been using your SaaS product and he's not happy with the ticketing system or the invoicing system, he might say the same on Twitter. Then in that case, you have to first reply to that particular person saying, hey, we regret the inconvenience. Can you share your ticket item? Can you share your ticket number? Or can you mail the same to support at yourcompanyname.com? So at my previous company, whenever someone ranted about our app sucks in Android Play Store, then we would reply to that particular person saying that, can you please send an email with the exact issue and screenshots to support at mycompany.com. So people used to send their issues to that particular email ID, and we used to resolve those problems. That is one method. Or if the social media platform itself has a direct messaging system like Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, then you can ask the user to send the ticket number or his order ID to the direct message of your company's page, so that you can take the situation forward. The fifth one is take it offline. Take it offline. So you should not keep these kind of conversations on Twitter, on Facebook, LinkedIn, because there are many media channels who are trying to leverage negative publicity for their media attention. So make sure you follow these 5, and then don't be too defensive. This is something many social media professionals back out from. Not always the user is right, not always the customer is right. Sometimes he might have his own misconception and lack of perception about product or the service, and they might go about ranting on the web. Maybe he read the instructions wrong, maybe he does not know the product he was buying, and maybe he does not know there is a return system. Maybe he or she does not know that the pricing and plans of your SaaS product has changed, and his own misconception can lead him to do such a thing on social media. First thing you have to do when such a thing happens is inquire about the truth. Once you inquire about the truth, you have to communicate the same to the customer. So let's go into the third aspect, the third step, great social media customer service, which is to resolve the issue immediately. You have to reply with your knowledge based answers. For instance, if a person has asked you a question on any of the social media platform and you cannot reply to him in short text, for instance Twitter, you cannot reply to him in like 500 characters. In that case, you have to say, hey, why don't you check out this link from our knowledge base answers? Why don't you check out this link? These questions have been asked by our other users also. So give him a link to the frequently asked questions, so that he clicks on it and gets the complete details of the problem he is facing. And the second one is create a ticket. This is important because our customer service team is not sitting on social media looking at who is having a problem. They are busy solving problems which the customers have created a ticket for. So whenever a person rants on social media, you either ask him or her to create a ticket if you are low on resources, or you ask them for the order ID and then create a ticket and tell the customer service team, hey, there's a person who's ranting on social media, why don't you just look into it, what's the problem he has. The third one is prioritize customer support. This is because the person who is talking about your brand might be an influencer, and once a person talks about something about your brand on Twitter or any of the social networks and it gets off steam and people say yes, 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 I do agree that company sucks, you would want to solve this problem as soon as possible because you don't want this to spread on social media. So you would say to the customer support, is there a way that you can prioritize this particular issue, because this particular person who is ranting about it on social media is actually an influencer. It's time for practicals, as in I'm going to show you how to use social mention to monitor your brand online. Currently I'm in social mention. I'm going to use my brand, which is Kohl's, and I see that there are a few blogs which I've covered. Kohl's, I would go to micro blogs here, and I see that there are a few positive mentions. So it's whenever you see a green light here, it says sentiment +1, which is like just saved $38 on one item on Kohl's thanks to influencer. So person is happy that he saved money on Kohl's. So this is great. So IMK How spent nearly 250 at Kohl's and saved 130. WTF, when did everything become so expensive? So it's saying that Kohl's is kind of expensive. So maybe you would like to reply to that. If I am the social media manager at Kohl's, I would make sure I would reply to that. And I would say, just because you're wearing Lauren cotton doesn't mean it's cute. It's still from Kohl's. So this person is kind of a fan of Kohl's. So even I would like to reply to that particular girl and say, oh, thanks that you have flattered us and all. So here it says, poor girl keeps trying to apply for Kohl's credit card, but Nikon at the front desk just gives her a... So someone is having a problem signing up with Kohl's. So yes, so you should reply to that, because somebody is not able to buy. So if somebody is having a problem with the checkout in your, then you can go to bookmarks and see if somebody is having a problem with your brand on Reddit. And in Reddit the community is very active. So Kohl's seem to be have completely deleted my Workday employee account after my registration. So this is a rant by his employee. So this is very negative. Maybe you should copy this link and send this to the HR in Kohl's. So it's not just customers, it's employees too when you're working in a big company. So these are few positives. So using social mention, you can also create an email alert. You can download the XML file. You can download the sentiment and all that. You can create an RSS feed and add that RSS feed to Feedly. Currently I'm in Twitter. I've been using Shopify for quite a few months right now, and I like their customer support. So I just search for the keyword Shopify in search.twitter.com, and I looked up people who have problem with Shopify. So here a person is saying thoughts on Shopify, looking for someone to help me potentially make some moves with them, already have another functional website. So this person is not exactly happy with Shopify, or like she's not sure whether to go with Shopify or not. So I would click on this and see if anybody has replied to that, and I see that Shopify themselves have replied. Don't hesitate to reach out to our support team, Shopify support, with any questions should we have any, Michael. So this is a great way of doing it. And then I will go to a company like Myntra. I'll see what exactly they are up to, tweets and replies. I'll see how they are responding to people who have a issue online. So I will click on tweets and replies. So here a person has mentioned, this is Myntra, they took $590 from me instead of $531, and now the delivery man is not responding and taking my call. Even if I return, they will give me $531, not $590. Scam, Myntra aware. So he's calling it a scam because he lost his 60 rupees, and yeah, they did that to me. So people are ganging up with him, saying that such a thing happened to them also. There is a guy who is saying, yeah, they did it to me also, beware people. So Myntra replied to them saying, hi Sayam, could you please help us with your registered email ID and order number so that we can look into the issue. So Myntra is replying to them saying, hey, what's the problem? So here I'll go again and see what's going on. Myntra, the difference between two different product packaging that you guys shipped. Order number this. Hey Mohit, we understand that you're not happy with the package number. Please note, since the branded box is damaged in transit, we had to send product in Myntra box. So they are clarifying customer queries. So this goes on. Now I'll go to another company like Macy's and I will check tweets and replies, and I would see that I'll click on one of them. So this particular lady is not happy because every time she adds to the cart, the kind somehow she loses the 12% discount. So Macy's is replying to them. We understand your disappointment and we'd like to look into your order. Please shoot us a DM, direct message with your order number and email address. Thanks. So Macy's is taking that particular customer frustration into a more private conversation. So Twitter gives the user an option to directly send a private message for this particular query. So it's making you easier. My suggestion is go to few popular brands and maybe your competition or brands you feel have great customer support, for example Zappos or something like HubSpot or Shopify or Volusion, and see how they deal with customer problems online, and maybe you can replicate them or you can take inspiration from them, take that as an example and give it to your customer support team that this is how we were gonna deal with social media customer support problems, and we're gonna need your support with that. So that's it about social media and customer service. Thank you very much.